I hope you guys are having a good day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to say hi to everybody. And today, what we're going to talk about is the fact that Elon Musk has officially taken over Twitter. Not only has he taken over Twitter, but Elon is playing what I believe to be kind of a modern day version of Game of Thrones. So we're going to talk about that. So get comfortable, buckle up, seatbelt. We're going to get started on the financial channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. I'm reporting here at the All Black National Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to be here all weekend. The All Black National Convention is a gathering of all the B1 people, intelligent Black people from around the world who want to solve problems, who believe in Black love, Black family, Black wealth, and Black power. If you are in that category, then you can feel free to join us. Just go to allblacknationalconvention.com, or you can also even find the links. I put them on my website at boycewatkins.com. You can join us virtually or in person. It's totally up to you. And if you're on Instagram, you can hit the link in the bio. So give me a yes or no in the chat. First off, let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I'm in a hotel, and you know how hotel Wi-Fi be tripping. Sometimes the hotels don't give you the good Wi-Fi and everything else. So I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. So give me a yes, Carlton Way, and George Randall. Let me know if you can hear me, and also feel free to shout out your city. And if I see your city, I'll shout it back. Okay, thank you, Elmore and Netflix and Cheryl. I appreciate you. All right, so how many of you heard that Elon Musk finally took over Twitter today? Give me a yes in the chat if you heard that Elon was taking over Twitter, that he actually officially now owns the company. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. It's something that I was not sure was actually going to happen. When he made the bid, I thought it was a hasty bid. I believe that if Elon could do it over again, I don't believe Elon would have bid $44 billion for Twitter. I think he would have bought Twitter for maybe $30 billion, but $44 billion was a pretty high number, particularly since the stock tanked right after that. Now, he became legally obligated once he signed the agreement. He was obligated to buy the company for $54 a share. That was easy money for investors like me. The reason that was easy money was because at the time they were going to force him to buy the company at $54 a share, the company's stock price was in the 30s. So what I did, which a lot of people did, was very easy to do. I bought the stock in the 30s, waited until the courts forced Musk to follow up with his deal. Basically, it's like he's a baby daddy, a deadbeat baby daddy being forced to go to child support court and take care of your baby. So Elon Musk was going to be forced to go to court in Delaware and pay for this company. I knew that was going to happen, so I bought a bunch of Twitter stock. And then when I saw the courts finally smacking his butt and saying, you got to follow through on your responsibilities, little Tyrone, I knew that the stock price would start going up toward 54. So when it got about 51, that's when I sold. And the reason I sold at 51 is because I had some concern that perhaps something could go wrong and something could hold up the deal, maybe some sort of antitrust issue or something like that. So I went ahead and took my money and ran. But at the end of the day, I don't think Elon Musk wants to own Twitter. I think that his bid for the company was it wasn't timed in the right way. He's dealing with a lot of economic loss right now, like a lot of other big boss CEOs, like Mark Zuckerberg. Everybody's talking about how much money Kanye West has lost since he insulted those people whose names shall remain unspoken, but y'all all know who it is. I ain't got to tell y'all that. But he lost about $2 to $4 billion. I think Kanye admitted that he lost $4 billion, but actually Mark Zuckerberg actually lost 25 times more money than Kanye. Mark Zuckerberg, did y'all know this? Mark Zuckerberg has lost $100 billion. $100 billion. Well, why is that? Well, because Facebook stock has been in complete free fall. It's been just plummeting. Right now, digital advertising is starting to drop. This week, you're starting to see tech companies like Amazon and Microsoft and others giving warnings about the economy. Amazon kind of broke my heart. I thought Amazon was going to beat their earnings. They did not. So for the record, I'm going to hold the stock I have with Amazon. I'm going to buy some more because I think Amazon's going to be a strong company for long term. But at the same time, you're starting to see some chinks in the armor. You're seeing some signs that the economy is going to start weakening and slowing down. But this is something we've been talking about on this podcast for a while, which, by the way, if you look up the Dr. Boyce breakdown on Spotify, We're also on Spotify. But if you've been listening to this podcast, you will know that I've been mentioning to you that one of the next things that you're most likely going to see is you're going to see corporations coming in with bad earnings numbers, coming in either not making their numbers or giving what is called bad guidance. So maybe they make their numbers, maybe they make the money that they're expected to make, but they say, hey, down the road, we see some problems. We have some issues with inflation. We have some issues with consumer spending starting to slow down. But then the other piece that you have to worry about is that there could be cracks in the economic system that result from the fact that the Federal Reserve is trying to dampen inflation by pumping really hard into the economy with these interest rate hikes. So as a result of the Fed's interest rate hikes, you now have one of the highest, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the highest average mortgage rate in the last 20 years. Literally, mortgage rates are over 7%. They haven't been this high for about 20 years, since about 2001. And that it's causing home demand to drop. So demand for homes is starting to drop, but the prices may not drop as quickly as we expect. Why? Well, because they don't have necessarily the supply for the market. A lot of people are not selling their houses now. Home builders are not building houses. So you would expect prices to drop, because when supply is up and demand is down, that's going to lead to a natural price decrease. But in this case, it may or may not actually work out that way. So anyway, let me keep going. I'm going to talk about Elon Musk in a second again. But before I do that, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button if you could, please. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. I want to remind everybody, I'm at the All Black National Convention. I'm going to be here all weekend. We have a lot of great people here at this convention. There is a great brother named Trevor Booker. I didn't know about this brother Trevor, but I got introduced to him. Trevor is speaking at the All Black National Convention. Trevor played in the NBA for several years, and he now owns like a ton of real estate. I mean, he's a real estate mogul. He owns entire schools and buildings and factories and everything else. And there's Herb Strather, who's here. Herb Strather has done $2 billion worth of real estate deals. Larry Miller is here. Larry Miller is the chairman of the Air Jordan brand. A lot of your kids have Air Jordans on their feet because Larry got your kids to buy Air Jordans. But we also have great people here like Jade Arundel, who's working with Tariq Nasheed at the reparations rally. We have people like my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, who's doing a speed dating event. So you can go date somebody who's not an idiot. You can date another intelligent Black person. Lene Javette, one of the most respected business strategists out here. So we got a lot of great people at the All Black National Convention. So if you want to see the real ones that are really out here doing the work, feel free to go to allblacknationalconvention.com, and you can join us live in Charlotte. We'll be here all weekend. After that, we are gone. It's over until next year. Or you can watch online. You can actually go to allblacknationalconvention.com or boycewatkins.com, or if you're on Instagram, you can hit the link in the bio. Okay, so let me hop back in terms of Elon Musk. Okay, so Elon Musk's investment in Twitter, assuming he can afford it. Now, mind you, Twitter is now a private company. Twitter stock will not be available after this deal is done. Like after it's all said and done, and Elon Musk has completely taken over the company, you can't go buy Twitter stock anymore unless there's something about the deal that I'm not aware of. And so this means that the company is now private. What's interesting is that this acquisition isn't just a financial investment. Investing isn't just financial. Wealth is not just financial. Wealth is also political. Wealth is very political. So what you're watching right now is that Elon Musk is basically playing the Game of Thrones with Twitter right now. That's what the way I see it. I see it as the Game of Thrones. And the Game of Thrones means that basically you have a highly charged political environment where most of these big tech platforms were owned by people who had a left-leaning bias. They felt that their liberal ideas were very enlightened and brilliant, and that anybody that had any conservative ideas was pretty much a bunch of idiots that didn't deserve to speak. And so that now you're seeing some conservatives starting to come back. You're seeing Elon take over Twitter. He literally just said, okay, well, you can get mad at me if you want to. You can try to cancel me if you want to, but I've got more money than you, which means that you can't cancel me because I'll always be the elephant in the middle of the room. So I'm going to just buy this damn thing. I'm going to buy the whole company. And that's what Elon Musk did. He played the Game of Thrones, and I believe he's playing it well. Assuming that this acquisition doesn't screw up for him, I don't think Twitter is a terrible company to own. Also, remember this. He bought the stock at $54 a share. It's very possible that once the economy recovers and the market takes off, and if he can do some good things, slim the company down a little bit, this company could be worth twice that much, right? So it could end up being a great financial investment. But more importantly, it seems that for Musk, it's also a political investment. The other thing is, okay, yeah, there we go. Someone said that he may be planning to take it public again. That's another point. That's another thing that I believe he's going to do, and I believe he's going to do it well. That's when he's going to have his exit. So now he went to the banks, he went and borrowed, billions of dollars to go make this acquisition, put some of his own money in there too. And he's going to work on this company privately without the influence of shareholders, without any shareholders telling him what to do. And then he's going to take it public again once he's increased the value of the company. I actually think this is going to work out for him. I think the challenge for Musk, though, is that, remember, you're talking about a guy who originally said that I'm doing this every day because I want to grow old and die on Mars. Well, dude, you're 50-something years old. If you're trying to get to Mars, you better hurry up, because guess what? The Grim Reaper is a mass murderer who eventually comes in and kills everybody in our house. He's going to kill everybody in your house. I hate saying it like that. I hope I didn't make anybody sad, but the Grim Reaper always gets to everybody. Elon Musk cannot invent a formula that will allow him to live forever. So I'm really curious to know how he's going to run Tesla. And then he's going to run SpaceX. And then he's going to run his other side projects with solar panels. And he's going to run Twitter. And he's going to get to Mars. That's going to be hard work. But if you want to know my personal thought, well, I kind of think freedom of speech is okay. I don't really, if I had to make a decision between either letting or forcing my opponents to be quiet, but also silencing myself versus letting them talk and letting me talk, I believe it's okay for everybody to talk. I really do. I've never been, I don't get offended by what white people think about me, because they don't get offended by what I say about them. So why, if you don't care what I say about you, then why do you care why should I care what you say about me? This is my 2 cents. All right. So anyway, let's move on. In general, I think that Elon and Kanye are kind of in the same fight. They're kind of two guys that have kind of upset people on the left. They're a little bit quirky, and both of them have a few $1 billion, and they're able to kind of execute their vision in their own way. I think Musk is a little bit more structured in his thinking. Kanye is kind of a creative genius, which could also be described as a weirdo in certain situations. Let's just be honest. Some things that Kanye says seem a little bit strange. Those fashion shows, the clothes that he wears, he covered himself in mud. That's just weird. But and he married a Kardashian, which is probably the weirdest thing he's ever done. Ain't no Kardashian is ever going to raise my kids. I'll tell you that much. But at the same time, I think that both of these guys understand the fight that they're in. A lot of y'all think that Kanye might just be totally crazy and totally stupid. And I don't think he's totally crazy and totally stupid. I think he's a little crazy and maybe a little reckless, but I don't think he's totally stupid. And let me tell you why. I was talking to a friend who's in the entertainment industry at the All Black National Convention, one of our guests, and she was telling me that she believes that Kanye was strategically planning to get rid of all of his deals anyway, so that he could go make other deals or do things on his own. He strategically wanted to get rid of the Gap. He strategically wanted to get rid of Adidas. And this makes sense, right? Because remember, Kanye West is a powernomics guy. When he and I talked on the phone, we talked about Dr. Claude Anderson. He believes in the powernomics principle. Once you've been exposed to ideas like Dr. Claude Anderson, once you've been exposed to powernomics, once you've been exposed to what it feels like to be a free black man or a free black woman, going to work for other people, it just don't hit the same way it used to. That so-called dream job you used to dream about back when you used to have these fantasies about being a high-paid slave, they just don't work no more. I don't know. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Like, have you ever really thought about how many things you used to dream about when you were young, where you now realize that would have been the worst thing in the world for you if you had actually gotten what you wanted? It's almost like wanting a girl really bad, and then you find out that she's really somebody that would have destroyed your life, and I think that that's kind of what happens with us as black people. We grow up being trained, many of us in my generation anyway, and then beyond. You get trained hoping like you're you feel like a lost puppy dog, and you're hoping that you'll be adopted by some established white person. You're hoping that they'll adopt you, take you in, treat you well, make you important, give you money, put you in a nice fancy office, give you a fancy title, and then you become somebody. You're like Pinocchio. Suddenly you become a real boy, right? You start to feel real because they're acknowledging you, and you start to feel like you exist because they see you. When really you didn't exist, not because they didn't see you, but because you didn't see you. You were seeing yourself through the eyes of your oppressor. If he didn't see you, you didn't see you. But when he sees you, then you start seeing yourself. Or when he sees other black people, you're like, man, I see you, dog. I saw you on TV, man. I see you, dog. Why does he have to see you before your brother sees you? Why can't I see you and respect you without him even knowing that you exist? See that's the secret to wealth, by the way, is figuring out where the wealth and the value exists before everybody else does. If you only can figure it out after everybody else has figured it out, then you're always going to be late to the party. You're always going to be a day late and a dollar short. You'll never be able to get ahead of the curve because all you're doing is you're following other people. You can't be a leader and a follower at the same time in this wealth game. It's kind of hard to do. So at the end of the day, I think that what Kanye might be feeling, perhaps, I'm not sure, is that itch of freedom. When you talk about just what freedom does, you don't have to be smart to understand the value of freedom. You don't have to go to college to know that being free is better than being a slave. You don't have to even be human. Animals even understand the value of freedom. You let a dog go free, he doesn't like to be put on a leash after that point. So ultimately, I think Kanye kind of wants to be free, and I think that was why he was, if you go back, he was deliberately attacking these companies for several weeks before it all kind of came down with the whole anti-Semitic stuff that they were talking about. Right. And so ultimately, the people who created cancel culture went out of their way to try to cancel him. And in certain spaces, they probably did. They got some people that don't rock with him anymore. Personally, I know the game. I understand what a coordinated media attack looks like. I understand it because I've gone through it myself. When I said that I don't like the fact that Lizzo's handlers are paying her money to degrade herself and embarrass black women and run around and become an obese slob who's engaging in slutty behavior just to sell records to white people. When I said that that's humiliating to black people, that is the Mammy Jezebel stereotype, that is degrading to her family, it's degrading to us, and it's painful to watch, and it's very sad to watch because we die from obesity every year, and you shouldn't be glorifying that. When I said that, the whole media just kind of decided altogether that they were going to have the same headlines. They were going to all sort of say the same thing about me. And so you would go around the world and look at hundreds of papers. This really happened to me. I kid you not, where almost every headline was the same. And it all painted me the same way. This sexist professor, was insulting Lizzo. Lizzo checks professor who checks sexist, was a fat shaming professor who blah, 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 right? That's what they do. That's what they do. That's how the cancel culture works. But what I like about what Elon is doing, honestly, and Kanye to some extent, some of the stuff Kanye is doing, I wish I could kind of help him kind of target his approach a little bit. But what I like about it is, in a way, they're kind of canceling cancel culture. And I like that because cancel culture is wrong. Cancel culture is stupid. This idea that you think that censoring half the world is going to somehow make the world a better place means that you're probably not that bright. And I would encourage anybody who thinks that certain people need to be censored, I would encourage you to kind of let that go. Defend your arguments, make your point, listen to other people. Human beings can't exist unless we listen to each other. You cannot get to the point where you only believe that people who agree with you should be allowed to talk. You know what that's called? That's called tyranny. That's what a tyrant does. So don't be a tyrant. Just defend your point of view. That's all you got to do. So yeah, go cancel culture. That's why I love rocking with Ice Cube. I respected Ice Cube. When we did work together on the political stuff, I liked the fact that he stood by what he believed in. He wasn't apologizing to everybody. And he also basically said, F your cancel culture. And so at the end of the day, I like what Musk is doing. I think it's about more than just money. I think this is a major power move. And what I want you all to pay attention to, and we've talked about this, I want to reemphasize this point. Watch how money is used as a form of power, because economic warfare is happening all around you. Economic warfare was declared on you from the time you were born. When you were sent out into this world, how many of y'all, give me a yes or no, how many of y'all were sent out into this world with no resources at all? Where you were struggling, you had to go get a job in order to pay the rent. So you had to put up with a lot of stuff that you didn't want to put up with because you could not pay your bills. You had no money saved for you, no money invested for you. Nobody left you any property. Nobody left you any assets. Anybody go through that? Give me a yes if you went through that. Give me a yes. Put all the yeses in the chat. I want everybody to confess that. Lay it out there real quick. We're not dogging our parents, but I really need y'all to lay that out. I need you to be conscious of this. This is economic consciousness. This is what it means to be financially woke. Woke means you are conscious. Woke and consciousness means you are aware. I need you to be financially aware of what happened to you. And I'm here to tell you that that shouldn't have happened to you. I'm here to tell you that that ain't right. And I'm here to ask you, I'm here to beg you, I'm really going to ask you this question. Can you also give me a yes if you're going to make sure that you do not do that to your kids, that you do not send your kids out here without a pot to pee in, with no access to resources that they need in order to survive? Because I want your kids to have something that a lot of us did not have when we were young, which is freedom of speech and freedom of expression, freedom of thought, and freedom of actions and activities. I want your kids to live a dream that where they can spend as much time with their kids as they spend with their boss. They can go and take a mental health day off whenever they want to. They can go and live their best life. They can travel the world. They can be happy. You know, when my daughter asked me, like, what do you think I should be when I grow up? I said, I want you to be happy. Like, that's it. I don't care if you're happy being a dentist, go be a dentist. If you're happy being a teacher, be a teacher. If you're happy going off to Europe and backpacking through the country or through the continent, fine, go okay. I want you to be happy. That's it. That's all. She was confused by the answer. I don't know. She thought I was supposed to tell her to be an engineer or something, but I wouldn't be happy sitting around working at a desk all day. It doesn't mean I can't get used to it, right? See, we don't understand what happiness is because we never grew up really believing that we deserve to be happy. We don't believe that we deserve it, right? So we kind of do things that we're like, oh, my job makes me happy, but your job really never made you happy. Your job gave you the least amount of pain of all the different places that you knew you had to be in order to pay your bills. You tolerated your job. You did not love that damn job. Come on now, stop lying. You didn't really love, being a nurse that much. You liked it, but when you could have a day off work, you took a day off. You didn't really love driving a UPS truck, right? You just liked it better than the other options that you had. But if you really did exactly what you wanted to do, you'd probably be at home watching Netflix. You'd be having sex or something. You'd be like off, like in the mountains, whatever. Like, I don't know. You'd be doing something else. So when my daughter said, what do you think I should be when I grow up? I said, I want you to be happy. But the process is that I need you to understand yourself well enough to know what's going to make you happy. Because a lot of people don't even know what's going to make them happy. They think it's like a new car, or they think it's like clothes or drugs. No, this material stuff doesn't do it, right? So I need you to understand yourself enough to know what's going to make you happy. And then we're going to talk about how money can be used to free yourself from all the mundane things that keep us distracted, so you can then spend time figuring out what your best life looks like. And then I want you to go live that sucker out. I'm going to tell you, living one life that is truly your best life is better than living 50 lifetimes as a regular person. If you can live one time in your best life, that's better than living 50 times in a regular life. Because where I come from, people didn't really get a chance to really be happy. They spent most of their time being miserable. So give your kids the chance to be happy, and that starts with money, because money can liberate them from all the mundane things that keep many of us enslaved. So that's my 2 cents on the issue. That's all I got to say. All right. So anyway, guys, like I've said, we have some great guests here at the All Black National Convention. I am in Charlotte right now. We don't just have you don't have to come to Charlotte if you don't want to. If you can't, that's okay. We have virtual passes. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. I'm super proud of the convention because we are not corporate sponsored. We didn't go to some bank or big Walmart and Target and McDonald's and get money, because we can't do that, because we want to be able to talk to people like Rizza Islam and without worrying about a corporate sponsor cutting our money, because Rizza and Dr. Wesley Muhammad are here. But we've also got some other great people like Herb Strather, who's done $2 billion worth of real estate deals. Julian Gordon, who is the king of multifamily real estate. Linda Clemens, who is a world-renowned body language expert who can tell you everything you want to know about sales. Courtney Logan, who's a Forex expert and a lawyer. He was a 4-time national debate champion. So this is some really intelligent Black people. Al Duncan, who's made millions of dollars as a public speaker. Sharice Lane, a young college student who is one of the great commentators of our country. We got Rebecca Samuels, who's a CPA. Tiila Kidd, who's an NFT master. Jade Arundel, who's running Tariq Nasheed's running the event with Tariq Nasheed on reparations in DC. Dr. Ma'at. Dr. Ma'at is an incredibly intelligent scholar, a brilliant Black woman, and I'm honored that she's here. And that's just like literally a drop in the bucket. We have so many great experts here, so it's a great place to learn. It's a great place to connect with other intelligent Black people. It's also a great place to come if you just want to have fun and you want to get away from the nonsense for a little while. This is Wakanda. We didn't make it in a Disney movie. We didn't pretend like it was Wakanda. We're not using CGA to create the Wakanda. We really created it with real people in the real world. So I see some of y'all already here. I see you, Claudine. So when I see you, you got to give me a hug. I see healthy, healed, and happy. You're here too. So you're probably laughing at me because I'm sitting up in my hotel room doing this. But I got to keep the routine going because I love talking to you all on a regular basis. So I like to be consistent. And for those of you that are here, I look forward to seeing you in person. Those who are not here, Charlotte ain't that far. Drive down, fly down, just come on down, hang out with us. You're going to love it. And if you can't come down, then get a virtual pass. If you're on Instagram, you can hit the link in the bio. It's right there. I also put the links on boycewatkins.com. And are there one-day passes? I don't think we have one-day passes, but we do have general admission tickets that don't cost a whole lot of money. So I hope you'll join us. It's going to be amazing. And God bless you all. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.